Zero cost cards in Axie Infinity are the most important thing in the game. In order to win in Axie Infinity, you need good zero cost cards on your team. Well, right now, at the sort of the end months of version 1 battles, it's a good time to buy new Axies. It's a good time to update your teams. And I thought it'd be fun to do a little review going through each of the zero cost cards, talking about which ones are good, how you should use them, and generally, what do you want to be looking at as you consider buying Axies over the next month or two? Now, let's be clear, version 2 battles, Axie Origin, it's coming pretty soon. Jiho has been tweeting a lot about it. I recommend you look at the budget Axies and look for some good deals. I would not recommend buying extremely expensive stuff. My opinion, as a gamer, I'm not an investor, I'm just a gamer. But I would say don't buy expensive shit right now because a good chance everything's about to change. But all right, let's just jump right into it. I'm hoping to do this pretty quickly and impart some common sense knowledge. All the top players know this. I've been in the top 1% of MMR for a while now, so I'm talking from personal experience being one of the relatively very high ranked players in the game. Let's get into it. Number 1, Tail Slap, Nemo. If you already play Axie, you see this card all the time. It's extremely common. Nemo is 20 damage, 0 shield, gain 1 energy when comboed with another card. This card is excellent for teams at all levels, and it's extremely good for beginner and intermediate teams because energy gain, energy control, energy manipulation, it gets a little different at the high end, but in the low and medium ranks of Axie, that determines a lot of games. You know, Sirius, Vegetal Bite from the plant, stealing energy, Nemo, Tail Slap, generating energy. And the same thing applies to Luna Absorb, the beast card, as far as energy gain. Really, really useful. This is also a good zero cost card. And since pretty much every Axie, most of them want to have one zero cost card, a lot of your Aquas will want Nemo. Generally, you want Nemo on one Axie, but not both. If you're running a double Aqua team, you generally want Nemo on one and then something else on the other. Commonly, you'll put Tail Slap Aqua in the middle of the team, and then a Koi, an upstream swim Aqua, in the back of the team with a plant in the front. Next, also one more note actually. Luna Absorb, we'll just cover both at once. Higher shield, but no attack. So Nemo gives you attack, Luna Absorb gives you shield. Tail Slap needs to be comboed, Luna doesn't. And then Nemo gives you more speed stats for your Axie than Cottontail. Most Axies will want Nemo, but if you need more shields for your Axie, Cottontail can work. And if you see a really good deal on a Cottontail Axie, this can be an okay substitution for the Nemo. Next up, Confident. Self-Rally. Apply 2 morale to this Axie for 2 turns. Interesting card. There's a lot of fun theory crafting you can do, and you can start to bring out your sort of poker skills, like playing Texas Hold'em with your charts and your ranges and, you know, your balanced, your play. There's a lot of RNG in the morale system. As it stands, this is one of the least common zero-cost cards, and I think it's safe to say it's probably one of the worst zero-cost cards. As a new player, you should avoid this card. Heroic Reward. Draw a card when attacking an aquatic, bird, or dawn target. 60 attack, 0 shield. Very strong. Definitely depends on the build. But if you have a chance to have an aggressive Axie, a strong beast, mech, maybe even, I don't know, a bird, not a bird, maybe a fish or something. Like if you need that zero cost damage and you find this Heroic Reward on an aggressive build for a budget team, there could be some really cool builds. Heroic Reward also gives you the card draw against Aquas. I think this is probably an underrated card. I don't see it very much in general, and it seems very strong to me. Definitely a decent card, although not super common. Triple Threat, a bird card, 40 attack, 10 shield, attack twice if this Axie has any debuffs. This card is very good in specific combos. It will usually be comboed either with the Eggshell card, which is the bird card that applies aroma. It's all those birds that have eggs on their head. You can use this after Eggshell, and the egg counts as a debuff, so you get 2 attacks reliably for an 80 damage plus 0 cost card, almost like the bird's equivalent of Twin Tail. It's also a high stats card, giving you high speed. The other thing this can be used with is a card called Risky Feather. It's the 150 damage bird card that applies -2 attack to self after attacking. So then you're debuffed, and you can use this to push off the debuff and to trigger the effect. So triple threat, good on specific bird combo teams. With that said, you should avoid using it on random Axies. You only want to use it when you have the combo ready to go in the moveset. Next, Cuckoo, Cock-a-doodle-doo. Apply attack plus to this Axie, 0 attack, 30 shield. This is an extremely strong card, popularized, at least in part, by Indez, one of the most popular and strong players in the game, one of the best players. He really made this card popular when he did a YouTube video saying, like, cards that you don't use enough, and then this was one of the cards he featured. Plus attack is very good. Plus attack is almost as good as doing damage, because you're going to do more damage in the next attack, which is almost as good as just doing damage with this card. 30 shield is very relevant. This is a great card on backline aquas, for example, because you can buff up, boost your next attack so you still get attack bonus, and the real reason this got a ton of utility at a certain point in the meta back in the day a little bit, this is an excellent anti-Terminator card and anti-stun in general. If the opponent is able to stun you, especially with the classic Terminator reptile using Sticky Goo Shell and the attack move Chomp, 2 different stun moves, Cuckoo, Cock-a-doodle-doo, fantastic way to remove that stun, apply some shield, and if you don't get stunned, then you get to just attack plus. Very, very good. All Out Shot. This is one of the best zero-cost cards in the game. It's extremely good for new players, both because it's strong and aggressive, and because it actually teaches you about what order your cards should go in and encourages some smart play. 110 damage, 0 shield, inflict 30% of the Axie's HP to itself as damage, so you can only use this a maximum of 4 times before your bird self-destructs. This should go on pretty much every beginner bird, in my opinion. Like, if you're buying a budget team, you should probably try to find a bird with this card. It's so damn strong, especially on birds. Very, very strong card for beginners. Sunderclaw, Pincer, a bug card. Randomly discard 1 card from your enemy's hand, 20 attack, 0 shield. Very strong in specific builds that are built for lots of discard and denial. The most common example of that right now is double bug aqua discard teams. That's the team I've been using. If you've seen some of my streams or any of my match review highlight VODs of the games I've been playing, I am running bugs with this card. So obviously I think it's a good card, but you shouldn't use it in beginner builds because it will be very bad on a lot of teams. You need to build the team in a way where this card is specifically useful. So unless you're specifically building a discard team, which I don't really recommend for your first team anyway, but if you were, that's what you'd want to use. Otherwise, don't use it most of the time. There are exceptions, but yeah, good card, but very situational. Mystic Rush, apply speed minus to target for 2 rounds, 30 attack, 0 shield. Famous as part of the Terminator reptile build and very strong on that build. Could have some other uses, but I'll just be honest, at very high ranks, I have seen no Mystic Rush. I've never seen this card on almost any Axies other than Terminators. And since Terminators aren't really very strong anymore because the meta has kind of solved Terminators don't really work anymore. All the stunning that used to be so strong, people have really learned how to build against it. So not that good of a card, probably not something that you want. I would avoid Mystic Rush for beginner builds. Might Bite, add 100% more damage when combo with another card, 30 damage, 0 shield. So this does 60 damage when you combo it. It's very easy to combo it with anything. This is generally strong. It's not as strong as the current version of Twin Tail, but if Twin Tail gets nerfed especially, we could see a lot more Might Bite. Also, this is what you want to use instead of Sunderclaw. So on a beginner build, if it's not discard based and you want to use a bug 0-cost mouth card, for some reason, Might Bite is the answer. You'd rather have 60 damage with no discard most of the time than 20 damage with the discard. So Might Bite, interesting. Indez recently said on a live stream where he jumped on a call with Elijah and 1437, some of the best players in the game, absolutely insane. You should definitely go find that VOD. It's on Elijah Axie on the Moon Meditates channel. I'm not sure what the channel's called now, but you know who I'm talking about probably. That video is insane, and in that video, Indez talks about how Might Bite is good, underrated, etc. So this could be a good one. If you find a budget Axie, and this is the only 0 cost, it's got some good cards along with it, this could be a good one, I don't see it too often, but it could be strong. Buzzing Wind, apply Fragile to target until next round. Fragile means double damage to shields only, so you'll deal twice as much damage to every shield hit, but once you're hitting their HP, there's no change. That's what Fragile does. 10 damage, 30 shield. Interesting card. Could have extremely good utility on specific teams for high-end players, but probably very difficult to get value from this properly as a low-level player, or as a beginner, as an intermediate player. below 2000 MMR, below 2500 even, because this requires extremely good piloting, and it needs to be on a team where it makes a lot of sense based on the meta. You need to know what kind of stuff you're queuing up against, what cards they're playing, how much shield they're going to have, when are they going to use those shields. You need to be piloting at a high level. Beginners should probably stay the fuck away from this card. It's so hard to play it well, but it could be really strong. Grub Explode. 70 damage, 0 shields. Deal 200% damage when attacking in Last Stand. Axie's Last Stand end after it attacks. So this is kind of like Might Bite, except slightly stronger with no need to combo, and then it has a weird Last Stand interaction. Seems really strong to me. The big difference is that this is a tail card and this is a mouth card. Grub Explode seems quite strong to me. You don't see it almost ever, though. I think it's because there's a lot of other tail parts that are strong. I think you might go with All Out Shot as opposed to Grub Explode, or maybe even just Might Bite for some reason. But I don't know. I think Grub Explode is really strong. I almost never see it, but it seems like it could be good. So I think it's good, but I never see it. I'm not sure if maybe it's bad, and I don't know why. Seems good to me. Twin Needle, aka Twin Tail, attack twice when combo with another card. Broken as fuck ever since they updated the skill stat, so now this thing can do 100 plus damage with enough cards comboed with it for the skill boost. I don't want to get into the skill stat. I know not everyone knows. Basically, if your skill stat on your Axie is high, the more cards you play, the more of a damage boost you get. Twin Tail is super, super, super strong. Oops. Super, super, super strong. I just clicked a button on my mouse that went back a page, so we're good. Super, super strong, might get nerfed, skill might get nerfed, also tends to be very expensive. Extremely strong card, but it's probably not going to be on any good budget builds, so I would be careful not to spend a ton of money on it, just because there's so many unknowns. But if you do find a good deal, extremely strong. Twin Needle, extremely strong. Disguise. Gain 1 energy when comboed with a plant card. 20 attack, 20 shield. This is extremely good on specific builds. You'll see certain plant builds that use Leaf Bug, and they're very common, and there's a lot of them on the marketplace. If you buy one of those, you're probably going to do great as long as it's on the right team. Good way to get energy, push a little damage, get a little shields up. Just don't buy it on a random build, because it would be really easy to buy an Axie that has this on a build where it's fucking useless. I would get advice and get a smart player, someone with experience, just to double check before you buy anything with Disguise. You got to make sure they've got the right cards with it, so you can get that comboing with a plant card, gaining the energy and all that. So be careful, but it is very strong on the right Axies, including beginner builds. Almost there. Woo, 12 and a half minutes. I'm actually moving faster than I thought. We're doing this. Cleanse Scent. Remove all debuffs from this Axie. 50 shield, 0 attack. Very, very, very strong. As good as Pumpkin, maybe better than Pumpkin. At high levels, you see Biden's way more than Pumpkin. You just got to make sure this is the only 0 cost. Do not combine this with other 0 cost cards. Like, this should be the only 0 cost on the Axie, same as all 0 cost. Only 1 per Axie. But if you have this on a plant, and the plant has moves like Cactus, Spicy Tail, Hatsoon, you know, anything with damage, maybe a Beast part, maybe, you know, whatever that might be, this is a really strong way for energy-free shield ups to keep your plant alive. Also can be useful with the zigzag mouth part to put up high shields and then heal yourself. Biden's is a great move. Refresh is a worse version of Biden's. Same stats, 0 attack, 50 shield. Remove all debuffs from a teammate if it's directly in front of this Axie. Any effect that heals, debuffs, buffs other Axies on your team is F tier. It's never been good ever. I don't know exactly why. I could hypothesize, but just keeping it simple. Refresh as well as that healing move where it's like heal the Axie in front of you. And even the strawberry and stuff, like the strawberry is like heal front teammate 270. Anything where you're healing or buffing an ally is trash tier in this game. It's just terrible. You'll see refresh occasionally on Axies, but I believe it's just because it's literally just because they're cheaper. You want Biden's every single time. Cattail Slap, 20 damage, 30 shield, draw a card if struck by a beast, bug, or mech card. Looks weak. If you look at it and you're a beginner, like, what the hell? Not that much damage, kind of awkward effect. No way. This is an extremely strong card, though. Very common in high levels. Actually, the ability to reliably counter beasts and bugs. Just the cards, even those cards on other types of Axies. And to do that with card draw, so you redraw, it shuts down bug discard teams like crazy, which are pretty common at the high ranks. And it's good to defend your plant against the kind of damage it's weakest to. A Cattail Slap on a plant or a reptile, mostly on plants in my experience. Insanely good counterplay. gives you outplay potential, which allows you to play around your opponent and get more wins by using your skill of piloting. Cattail, very strong, although probably not optimal for beginner builds because you won't need it as much at lower ranks, and it'll probably be on more expensive Axies. As a beginner, I wouldn't do Cattail, most likely. I'd probably go for a strong one-cost tail part, either Hot Butt, the spicy one, or maybe Hatsoon, which denies ranged attacks. Or even a Yam or something, like a poison card, like a Yam. Cattail Slap, though, extremely strong at higher-end builds, and you'll want to know about it. Vine Dagger, as we get close to the end here, 20 damage, 30 shield, double shield from this card when comboed with a plant card, used on certain reptile builds for the stats. I don't know about the comboing with a plant card. I don't think that effect gets used super often. But you do see this on some super beefy reptiles, just as the zero cost card, because they need to have something so they can get around stuns, and it does give them a little bit of shield and attack, and they might even occasionally get that combo effect. A good card on the right builds, but be careful. Don't buy it on something random. Lastly, Venom Spray. 20 damage, 30 shield. Apply 1 poison to target. This used to apply 2 poison to target, and it was utterly broken and dominating like a ton of the high rank play, like all over the high ranks. Now it's been buffed, or nerfed rather. Now it's been nerfed down to 1 poison instead of 2. Very good. Much more balanced. Still quite strong. You don't want to put this on random Axies. You want to put this specifically on teams built for it. Poison teams, oftentimes that also use jumping, redirection mechanics. So this is a great card in the right teams, but be careful. Don't buy it on something random. And that's your zero cost card review. I know it's a lot of info. I know I'm throwing it at you just rapid fire, but we are in a weird place. We're heading towards Battle's Origin version 2. Jiho keeps tweeting about it. Like he's just talking about problems with Axie gameplay just today, like literally when I'm recording this. Talking about someone sweeping the floor to pick up Axies for breeding. He recently said it's around the corner. Free, more skill-based, more beautiful, blah, blah, blah. Like, it's coming soon, I'm pretty sure. So what I want to do is make some quick V1 content. I'm making this video, maybe a few others. So there's something to go off of in this last month or two. But let's not get it twisted. I think the next version of Axie is coming very soon. If all goes well, this video will be obsolete in January, But I wanted to do some content because I'm getting questions about how to build Axies, how to build teams. This is probably like one of the most important things. Understanding zero costs. Once I had more zero cost cards on my team in any intelligent way, I immediately started climbing and winning more matches. So respect the zero costs. Let's get it. And, look at the low end of the market. Look for the cheap stuff. There's some really good deals. Axies are very affordable. And with that said, that's all I got. Good luck out there in the arena. That's it. That's all I got. Flux signing out.